Greetings fellow Skyrim players, modders, and mod creators. This is the Caedo Genesis mod showcase, and this is Caedo. As you can see, this may be turning out to be a series about mods that can make your game aesthetically pleasing. In other words, eye candy. Of course, looking at somebody's such great work, me myself, I get a little jealous. I mean, yeah, I sketch a little bit, but I hate coloring. My work pales in comparison to what these mod authors can do. So what I'm going to go over now is the Amidianborn armor retexture, the full package being called Amidianborn Book of Silence by Cabal120. This is a lore-friendly retexture of the vanilla armors. There's not any fancy modifications to the armor itself, no bazookas strapped to the back or anything like that. It's made to add more immersion to your Skyrim experience. And later on, Cabal120 plans on doing the faction armors as well. But that's not all either. He's began working on the weapons, starting off with the iron and steel axes, and the hunting bow and steel arrows, which I will show you later. So let's talk about retexturing for a little bit. When you hear the word retexture, you think of something already in existence being altered to look more aesthetically appealing. In this case, think again. Cabal120 builds his retextures from the ground up. An example of the difference would be either just replacing your engine in your car or stripping the entire car down to its frame and rebuilding it, along with reconstructing all of the parts that go into it. So in essence, it's not really a retexture, it's a reimagine of how the entire thing looks. Was that a bit over the top? I did talk to Cabal120 while I was making this video, and the process he uses in which to make these sets, I wouldn't have the patience to even learn. So he really deserves more praise for all of the effort that he's putting forth to make our game look pretty, right? Alright, I've stalled long enough. The first set we're going to look at is the fur armor. Both variants were redone for both male and female. The strap, the necklace, and the stitching all look like they're actually popping out at you now. It gives you the effect of depth. You don't want your armor looking flat like a piece of paper. And the fur now looks natural, as if it were actually taken off an animal, proving indeed that fur armor is actually made of fur. Thank you, Cabal120. Next is the hide armor. My main appreciation for this armor was the helmet, because if you go back and look at the original, it doesn't even match the set. And now on the metal, there's some really nice looking etchings in it, as well as the texturing put into the leather itself, you can see on the shoulder pad. All in all, great detail. The studded chest piece was also redone, the leather under armor with a single stitch, and now the metal plate on the shoulder pad really stands out. Next up is the iron and banded iron armor, both of which I'm glad to see fixed. The originals looked really rusted and unkempt. Also, the leather straps didn't quite look right, looking like leather made for tooling rather than straps. The horns on the helmet no longer look like they're made of plastic, and the chest piece still looks weathered, but in good repair. There's some excellent etching once again on the gloves and boots. Kind of has sort of a Celtic feel to it. The banded iron armor had some great work done with the shoulder plates, and the giant leather strap in the front that has visible wear marks. Iron is looking fine. Alright, leather armor. You can tell the colors were adjusted to make the armor look treated rather than weathered. Incredible effects with the studs and the stitching, the buckles and the belts. Also, if you look close enough, you can really see the texture of the leather itself. Don't forget the fur insulation underneath. Now much more realistic looking, and it's quite well blended. It is far more believable. Alright, next up is the steel armor. Both chest piece and helmet varieties were done as well. Just look at those boots on the vanilla set. They're a shade off. Of course, that being corrected by Cabal120. Now the basic iron helmet had a little bit of etching done, and it really pops out. The horn helmet took it a step further and had not only etching but the chainmail neckpiece too. On the shoulder plate, I have no idea what kind of design that is, but it looks like it's made with wire mesh. Unbelievably awesome. The gloves are probably my favorite part of the armor, the intricate detail put into those, and of course the boots, now matching with what looks like the Ouroboros symbol. Next we move on to my favorite, the Elven armor. Now you can tell right off that it's been dramatically changed. Of course he did do a version in gold as well. I prefer this one myself, because it also matches the Thalmor robes. Now there is etching all over this armor, and you can see the chainmail underneath, extremely well done. I can only imagine how much time it took. From head to toe, this armor looks amazing. Next up is the steel plate. Watch out for those bandit chiefs rocking this set. You can immediately see the original is flat and doesn't have that texture you look for when you see something metal. The helmet's got this crazy design on the crest, that continues on the shoulders, the collar of the chest piece, which looks well kept by the way, yet worn. The plates on the armor, instead of looking like they just got fitted together, now look like they're layered, which is what plate armor is supposed to look like. I'm sure heavy armor users will appreciate that too. Of course, another they'll appreciate is the Dwarven set. Now instead of having a faded gold color, it's now bronze, which is what you would expect from Dwarven armor. The designs on here are completely different from the other sets of armor, keeping the almost mechanical look, and the studs placed in the armor have that wonderful depth effect. There's wear spots here and there, a lot in the places where you would expect the armor to move or face some friction. Now we move on to the final set, the Ancient Nord armor. Being this is something you have to go through an entire quest line to even be able to craft it, it should have looked more like this. It's rusted but doesn't look like it would fall apart. The detail work is much sharper, especially on the chest piece. The collision marks on the helmet and the boots are more defined. The cloth on the gauntlets and the leather and fur are now the proper shade, making a seamless set of armor. Cabal120 also did some shields. That's iron, banded iron, hide, steel, and elven. The final piece of Cabal120's current work is the axes made of iron and steel arrows, and the hunting bow. The weapons are not standalone like the armors, so you would have to get the Book of Silence package to get the weapons as well. I really don't see why you wouldn't though. Now you can find this mod in Skyrim Nexus. Hit that link right there. Now if you download this mod, don't forget to share your appreciation. Cabal120 worked real hard on this, and he continues to do so. Leave him some comments. Endorsing is always nice too. Now for a little self-promotion. If you like this video, or just simply like the sound of my voice, follow this link and it'll take you directly to my channel. I would love some attention from you guys. Tell me what you thought of this video, and what you would like to see on a potential future episode. As always, best of luck on your future quests. Thanks for watching, and I'm out of here.